4 true creepy school horror stories that will make you jump story. 1. The Haunted Locker of Westbrook. Westbrook High had a reputation among students for being one of the most academically challenging schools in the district, but it also had a long history, one that included whispers of strange occurrences. The most well-known story came from a student named Emily, who in 2007 was assigned locker number 205. From the moment she started using it, she felt an eerie chill whenever she approached the locker. At first, she thought it was just a coincidence, but the feeling never went away. It started with small things. The locker door would sometimes be open, even though Emily always made sure it was locked. She'd often find the contents of her bag rearranged or moved. Then, it escalated. One afternoon after school, Emily was alone in the hallway when she heard whispers coming from the direction of her locker. Faint, unintelligible whispers that made her skin crawl. She quickly ran to the locker and found nothing out of the ordinary, but the strange feeling remained. The odd occurrences continued, with Emily reporting hearing her name whispered in the hallways late at night. After weeks of constant unease, she finally mentioned the strange happenings to her friends. To her shock, they revealed they had all experienced similar things in locker 205 in the past. Some said they saw shadowy figures near the locker. Others heard loud bangs when no one was around. It turned out that locker 205 was located near the spot where many years ago, a student had tragically died under mysterious circumstances. The school janitor confirmed the rumors. That particular hallway had a history of strange occurrences, and it was said to be haunted by the spirit of the student who had passed. Emily transferred lockers, and the school eventually moved to close off that section of the building due to increasing reports of paranormal activity. Story 2. The Creepy Ghost in the Choir Room. In 1995, Claire was a freshman at Fairview High School. She had always been drawn to music and joined the school's choir. The choir room, a large old space with stained glass windows and high ceilings, had an almost timeless feel to it. But something about it made Claire uneasy. She chalked it up to the room's age and the creaking of the old wooden floors. However, as the weeks passed, Claire began to notice something odd. During rehearsals, she would often feel someone staring at her from the back of the room, but when she looked, there was no one there. Other choir members began to feel the same unease, often hearing footsteps behind them or feeling a cold breeze blow past them, even though the windows were shut tight. One afternoon during a private rehearsal, Claire stayed behind to practice, alone after everyone else had left. As she sang, she suddenly heard someone humming along with her. She spun around but found the room empty. The humming stopped abruptly, and the lights began flickering. Terrified, Claire ran out of the room and locked the door behind her. When she later told her friends, they revealed that many students and teachers had heard the strange humming for years. Some said it was the ghost of a former choir member who had died in a car accident decades earlier. The haunting became so intense that the school decided to hire a paranormal investigator, who confirmed that the choir room was haunted by a restless spirit who had loved music in life. To this day, some students still refuse to enter the choir room alone. Story 3. The Shadow in the Hallway. In 2011, a group of students from Lincoln High School decided to stay late one Friday night to finish a group project. The school, a 100-year-old building with narrow hallways and old classrooms, seemed strangely empty. As the group worked late into the evening, they noticed strange things happening. Books falling off shelves, lights flickering, and a heavy silence that seemed to settle over them. One of the students, Jake, decided to take a break and walk around the building. As he turned a corner down an empty hallway, he saw something that made his blood run cold. A dark, shadowy figure standing at the far end of the hall. The figure was tall, with long, flowing limbs, and its eyes glowed faintly in the darkness. Jake stood frozen for a moment, but when he blinked, the figure was gone. Terrified, Jake ran back to the group, but no one believed him at first. However, as they gathered their things to leave, they all heard it. Footsteps echoing from down the hallway, approaching them. The door they had just locked slammed shut, and when they turned to look, the shadowy figure was standing in the doorway, watching them. The group ran out of the building, but the experience haunted them for weeks. They later learned from an older teacher that the building was said to be haunted by a former student who had tragically died in a mysterious accident many years ago. Some students had even claimed to see the shadow figure in the same hallway where Jake had encountered it. Story 4. The girl who appeared in the yearbook in 2002, Mark, a high school senior, was reviewing the final proofs of the yearbook when something strange caught his eye. As he flipped through the pages, he saw a photograph of a girl who he didn't recognize. She was sitting at a desk in one of the classrooms with a vacant, unsettling look in her eyes. Mark couldn't recall ever seeing her at school. But there she was, smiling faintly in the background of the picture. Curious, he asked his friends if they knew who she was. No one did. Even the teachers couldn't place her. The mystery deepened when the yearbook was published, and the strange girl's picture appeared in several other photos throughout the yearbook. She was always just a blur in the background, or a figure sitting alone in a classroom. As graduation day approached, Mark's curiosity grew, and he began asking around. An older teacher finally pulled him aside and explained the eerie truth. The girl in the pictures had died several years ago in a tragic accident on school grounds. Her spirit, it seemed, had been trapped in the yearbook, appearing in photos that no one had noticed until now. Though Mark was initially skeptical after hearing the story, he couldn't help but feel a shiver of fear whenever he looked at the photo. The girl's face was haunting, her eyes hollow, and her presence in the yearbook felt like an unsettling reminder that not all stories can be explained by logic alone. To this day, students who received the yearbook for that year report feeling uneasy when flipping through the pages, wondering if the girl's spirit still lingers in the halls of the school. These 4 creepy school horror stories are chilling, reminders that even the most mundane places, like a classroom, a hallway, or a yearbook, can be the setting for terrifying and unexplained events. Whether it's the lingering presence of a tragic soul or a shadowy figure watching you from the dark, the unknown can be closer than we think. These true tales serve as a warning. Some stories are better left untold, and some places should never be explored alone.